One piece of paper could have kept her quiet.
Had I signed a non-disclosure agreement back in 2007 and accepted the $25,000, I would not be able to be speaking out now. I don't believe it would be right to tell someone that they can't talk about things that have happened in their own life. Survivor should be allowed to speak about their life or whenever an NDA is forced on a victim. That was it. And he said, if you ever need to contact me again, you need to contact my attorney. So in 2007, that's when my then, I call him my attorney back then because it's who I called, but he was a family friend from Hominy, who is now the Attorney General of Oklahoma. But I just called him and said, I need some help with this. Can you give me some advice on how to deal with this? And he looked into it, and the statute of limitations were up all the way around. And he said, we'll pursue something. And we came up with the figure of $50,000 because at the time I kind of looked through the bookkeeping that I used back then and calculated that I'd spent around $25,000 in counseling up to that point, which was about 20 years from the day I told. So that's not very much money to spend in a 20-year period on counseling. But I felt like I needed another 20 years. So that's why I asked for $50,000. But they accused me of being the person that was pursuing him. And they said that they would offer me $25,000 and they wanted to make sure I was going to counseling and where I was going. They wanted to basically approve where I was going to counseling. And then they wanted me to sign an NDA. And I just, as soon as he said the NDA, I said, I will not ever sign. I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what an NDA was. But Gittner, my attorney, said, well, it means that if you sign it, you can never talk about this. And I immediately said, I will never sign anything that says I can't talk about my own life experiences.
Exactly.
So that just ended all of it. There was no more communication about it.
I have found my way to understanding child sexual abuse, forgiveness, and healing. Part of that journey also involved a pursuit of financial restitution from Robert in 2007 at the age of 37, 20 years after I first told someone. My attorney at the time, Gittner Drummond, who is now the AG of Oklahoma, asked for $50,000 to cover past and future counseling. Robert Morris's attorney responded with a letter accusing an innocent 12-year-old Cindy of pursuing Robert, making Robert sound like the victim. The letter also offered a $25,000 settlement as long as I would sign an NDA, which I refused. That was 18 years ago. Because I refused to sign that document giving up the right to freely speak about events in my life, last Wednesday, March 12th of 2025, almost 43 years after my abuse began, Robert Morris was indicted in Oklahoma on 5 counts of lewd acts with a child, which each carry 20 years in prison. And he turned himself in to authorities just 2 days ago in Osage County in Oklahoma. Because I refused to sign an NDA, my abuser is finally being held accountable for the horrific crimes he committed against me as a child. Because I refused to sign the NDA at the age of 37, I am able to sit here at the age of 55 and share my story and be the voice for so many people who don't have the courage to come forward in hopes that I can help them.